What is it called again? It's wand. It's magic wand. Presidential wand. Presidential. What is it called now?
Executive order.
Executive order. That's his magic wand now. He's a few. Another executive.
Hello. Welcome back again. Episode 28, yeah? We're getting close to episode 30, man. We're smashing it out the water, and thanks to our new followers and all that stuff, we're getting close to 200 followers as well. When are they going to start paying us, by the way? We need 1,000, right?
I'm still far, man.
This stuff is not easy, guys. Follow, like, subscribe. Let's keep it going. Let's start making back. We promise we'll do giveaways every weekend. If you get us there and we're making money, it's our money. and you know, on the topic of money, I wanted us to quickly talk about this one, yeah? The life of a woman. I know women, they go through all sorts of struggle. You know, there's so much happening in the life of a woman, but they also have this extremely clear advantage over men when it comes to potential to make money. Like, if you can take care of yourself, take care of your body, take care of your looks to a particular extent, the opportunity to make money becomes almost limitless. Yeah, in a sense. So there was a popular story in Nigeria that was trending this week, so just the last week now. So basically what happened was, there was a girl, there is a girl called Ama Reginald, yeah? She leaked the audio, so she recorded a call with a friend. The name of the friend is Sophia, and Sophia is one of the all these girls, Ama Reginald, Sophia, they are one of the socialite young girls in Lagos at the moment. Yeah? So they are going to parties, they know a lot of famous people. They are not actors or actresses or singers or whatever. They're not even models.
Industry girls.
Yeah, you can call them something like that. And then there was an incident that Ama used to date Manny. Manny is Burna Boy's PA. Manny told Ama Burna Boy might need something, and Ama told Sophia to link up with Burna because, well, they might have a good time. Sophia decided to link up with Burna Boy. However, for this link up, it was going to cost Burna Boy an entire Lamborghini Urus. They did the deed, yeah? And as compensation for being stress-free and sweet, she demanded for a Lamborghini truck. And Burna Boy basically said, sure. Yeah, you want a Lambo truck? Oh, of course. Anyways, after the entire fun night or whatever, or fun weekend, whatever they had, yeah, the Lambo truck was not coming from Burna, and she was lamenting to her friend on the phone. Her friend recorded that and then posted it on the internet, and then it became a huge topic.
Apparently, Manny, that's Burna's guy.
Oh,
that
okay.
Apparently, Manny is telling her that Burna is looking for me and all of that in Lagos, and he's been asking about me, telling them they should please invite me out. He wants to meet me. That's how, obviously, I didn't even answer that period.
Yeah.
Then, one time, I think the next week, right, she had called me again. She was always texting me about it. I'm like, when I do my hair, I don't mind meeting him. Friends when I do my hair.
It's like, well, if it's not Burna Boy, maybe people wouldn't know anything and all that stuff. But this is where it gets interesting. This is why I'm talking about women having this great advantage when it comes to making money. One, she had the effrontery to be able to ask for a Lambo truck, but that's not where it's ended. She actually still ended up getting that Lambo truck. It just wasn't from Burna Boy, and it's been trending. There's been so many stories. Burna, we might be getting a song about it in the next album, similar to the last breakup song, because Burna is basically saying, well, I didn't get the Lambo. Is that why you're shouting? And we should find the freestyle that he made.
If you not getting me, forget about it. I know by Lambo. Is that why I shouting? Them day, yeah, them day. Now they see them. Yeah.
I'm flabbergasted at the life of a woman from that perspective.
I mean, it's definitely an interesting story. I think Burna Boy would definitely capitalize on this. I mean, because the freestyle is already going crazy online, like different producers making beats.
Burna Boy performed it in Kenya already.
I'm not sure if that's the official one, but definitely, that's definitely coming on the album, right? But yeah, I mean, women have this, they've always had it, right? This unfair advantage when it comes to how they can capitalize on what they have, especially if you're a very pretty girl. And Lamborghini, man, it's, in Yoruba they say, well, I can't even say that. I don't even want to say it. It's like, what is there going go? You know what I mean? It's like, nah. See, I mean, for what now? For what? I mean, you can argue that Burna Boy has a lot of money and he might be able to, he can afford it, but does he want to do it? No. I mean,
bro, I'm with you completely, right? But this is now what's funny. It seems like Sophia has had something to do with Runtown. She's had something to do with Whiskey, Burna Boy now, and some other people out there, because she lives a very, very expensive lifestyle, right? She lives in the most expensive neighborhood in Nigeria. I think she lives in Banana Island. She used to drive a Bentley Bentayga. She has a lot of Birkin bags, curly bags, all those expensive things that women think about. You know what's most funny about it for me is that Burna Boy is playing along. I think he's having fun with the whole story. So like Sophia posted, and now I got the Lambo truck, and look, I got a new Hermes bag costing $31,000 or something, or £31,000 alongside the Lambo truck, and look, this is my Patek Philippe as well. For some reason, Burna is having fun as well, and is posting his own Ferrari Purosangue and also his own wristwatches. He's posting himself in a private jet, and I'm thinking, Burna Boy worked so hard. Do you know, like Burna Boy's career, just thinking about the trajectory of his career, his time in Ghana, his time in South Africa, the near-death experiences. He worked so hard to get to where he got to. And now you've got this 26 or 27 or 28-year-old girl that is basically posting all these things that Burna worked so hard to get.
That took him several years, man.
Several years. Maybe for sure she's not as rich as Burna yet. But the fact that she can even, feel like, what do you think you have? I've got stuff as well. Without a job, without inheritance, I'm just
what I'm struggling to actually wrap my head around, and this happens also in Hollywood, like with the American celebrities. Why do these wealthy, famous guys keep messing with the same girls, man? You would think with their status, with like the wealth, like they should be able to, have some pretty girls that are not passed around the girls. I'm sorry to say that.
No, I know what you're saying, and this is an interesting one because it's been a question that I've seen on the internet lately as well. People are asking this question on TikTok, on Twitter, like, what is wrong with the celebrities? Why do they always all date the same girls? And I have my
theory.
Yeah, I have my theory. Exactly. It's three things in my head. Number one, proximity. These are the girls that hang around them. And just think about, if a rapper is coming to a club, there are girls that are basically just, they know the PAs, they know the managers. People call them and say, yeah, it's coming tonight, and they all pack themselves to go there. Like even this Sophia Burna story that I'm talking about. So they have a group. They have a group where they all move together. So there's Ama Regina, I think Messi Big Brother is one of them as well. Sophia, they have a group. I think there's another one called Nelly Kelly as well. They have a group and they all move in the same direction, and this is what that proximity, that's what happens. We were just having a conversation. I think proximity is still very, very important in the whole thing. And proximity can be being there in person or popping on social media. So they will go for the ones that's popping the most. But just think about it. Every time you see a girl popping on social media, you will see some celebrities already following. I think some of the popular culprits in Nigeria is Don Jazzy.
No, Jazzy is a
I don't know.
It's not
Because
even on
the
a
Jazzy
low-key
is
that
single.
He's a whole, man. He's like,
He's single.
He's like,
He's
I
single.
like plenty
It's-
women. He's like,
Exactly, and it follows everyone that pops. And I think in the US, I'm telling you, in the US, I don't know if it's Jamie Foxx or Shaquille O'Neal. There's one person as well.
it's a lot of them. Offset, all these guys, like
Offset.
Yeah.
And that's the second. That's the second type of proximity. The second factor in my theory or whatever is these girls understand them. Look, a regular pretty girl cannot understand the life of a typical celebrity. The travel,
that makes sense.
the girls around them, and these girls, they understand them. That's the second thing. And the third thing, it's also good for clout, right? It's also good for clout, and also to basically say, I did that girl, you did that too. You know what I mean? Like, if you did that girl, I'm doing that as well. And there's a little bit of competition between them. If you did that guy, I would do him as well. If you did that girl, I would do that girl as well.
I get your theory. I feel like, with musicians and like actors and actresses, maybe that makes sense. But with footballers, I think I remember why I also had the question, because it's this Jude Bellingham situation that he also just is dating this girl that everyone already dated. Like, why?
I think Jude Bellingham is just, I don't want to say he's making a mistake, but as a young, wealthy guy, Jude is 22 or
21, yeah.
I can imagine that, when you scroll through your phone and you make that kind of money, you have that level of fame, you probably are still just trying to get the baddest. But when you actually think about it, most footballers have regular ones. They become irregular because of the career of their husbands or something. Like, most of them are marrying their high school sweethearts.
that's
most
true.
Most of them are marrying unknown girls and stuff. So for the footballers,
a few married models. I think South Americans really fancy marrying like Miss Argentina or Miss Chile or Miss
because that's what happened. Even the Nigerian ones, right? We had Kano one call with that, because that's how you say I've arrived.
Emenike divorced Miss Nigeria 2015 to marry Miss Nigeria 2016 or whatever. I forgot the year, but in following Miss Nigeria.
I saw that. I'm like, I mean, there's a lot of I don't know if it's bragging rights, because it can't be outright love, but it's also very interesting that the people you hang around, I think we think that if a girl has been passed around, it means that the guy won't still fall for her. If you spend enough time with a star, you're in trouble as a man. Because it's a job. It's a part of their character. I think most humans are generally nice and sweet to people that they're friendly with. I probably have a few friends that I'm like, they're probably like, you like sex too much, blah blah, you probably walk around. But because I know them, I know that they are sweet and nice people, I will excuse it away and be like, nah, that's my G. And a big name comes to mind. There's a girl that we both know that I always tell you that I have a bit of respect for her, just because she's very open and honest about what she does. She's married now with kids, but when we were in school, I don't want to call the name. Do you remember the girl? You call her a different name, I call her a different name. She moves crazy. Do you remember? Starts with a Y. For me, I call her with a name that starts with a Y. You call her a name that starts with an E. And I always say this, that I will always have respect for her, because I know that as a person, she seems to be a nice person. She's very open. She's very simple. Whatever it is that she's doing in that sense, it's what she enjoys doing, or she enjoyed doing, and she had an agenda. She had her own route that she wanted to take, and that was it for her. But as a person, I will always, I don't know, I've told you before, because she just seems like one of the simplest
genuine
books that you can almost genuinely,
and that's the thing
that I know as well.
Also, in the defense of like these industry girls, quote unquote, right? Like, you could also argue that they are just people, but they are famous people, right? They are famous girls that has exes. It's like every girl has an ex, right? Or exes.
Exactly.
But then they are popular exes. Why is it a problem?
Exactly. That's actually what they are at the beginning. I was discussing this with with Kodri as well. This is what they are at the beginning. At the beginning, they would date the first famous guy, and then they'll switch to the next one. It's like this man's daughter as well.
Yeah.
What's her name?
Harvey.
She dated Diddy. Yeah, Avi.
I forgot her first name. Yeah.
Avi Spector.
No, Steve Harvey is the dad, but I don't know her name.
Steve
Yeah.
Harvey. Yeah, exactly. Lori
Harvey, yeah.
It's like Lori Harvey, right? She has a long roster. Michael B. Jordan, P. Diddy's son. She just kept on going.
Yeah.
Whatever. What was this name of this guy? This British guy as well.
Damson.
Damson Idris. You know, oh my goodness, Lori's.
I think even Jimmy Fox.
Lori's wild. Yeah, Lori's. She's something else. Yeah, see, and this is how most of them start. They will have the first boyfriend, and then ex, and then they realize that happiness is not coming from just having a sweet boyfriend, but it's coming from having a rich boyfriend. And the moment they clock that, they really start to build a life around it. And this is why Sophia was saying, because Burna said he will get me a Lambo truck, I thought, well, why not make him one of my guys? So they later transitioned from having one rich guy, and then it's the ex to letting every guy know that you don't own me.
Yeah, just on the roster.
Yeah, you're on the roster, but don't worry, I know how to manage that roster to make sure that you feel as special and sweet as possible with you. And they're good at what they do. They're good in the room, they're good everywhere. Like, the amount of value might not be commensurate to the compensation itself, but the fact that compensation is possible, in fact, majority of women will not get to a quarter of the level of seduction and engagement that they will give those men.
Yeah.
Like, they won't be able to even give it to their husband, and these people are able to give it to multiple men at the same time.
It's a skill set.
Yeah, and what I hate about the skill set is just that I don't think it's a skill set that you can develop once you have grown. A lot of them start really young.
Yeah.
That was funny. Yeah, that was funny. Interesting stuff. And you know, I don't know if this is true. We have to confirm. It seems like in all this brouhaha, Chloe Bailey unfollowed Burna Boy on Instagram.
I mean, I feel like the Burna Chloe situation, for me, it felt like a publicity, like a PR thing. I'm not sure they actually dated. Maybe they smashed, but yeah, the whole thing was just too fast. It felt like a week or two thing, and everything was just over. So I'm not sure she's entitled to be catching feelings or whatever, because it's Burna Boy at the end of the day, and you guys hang out like 2-3 times, at least publicly. It felt like a week. So,
you know, we talked about the fact that this is probably a setup, whatever, blah blah, and maybe even this Sophia story is an opportunity to complete that cycle.
Yeah.
Like, they knew they were going to break up at some point, and then, I can always use the excuse of it's this drama that's happening. Because when you think about it, the girl never mentioned that she did it whilst Burna already was with Chloe or something. She never said we did it during the relationship with Chloe.
Yeah, exactly.
It could have happened before, and no one is explaining anything. Yeah, I mean, at least I see that Burna is not following Chloe for sure, and Chloe as well. I can't see who is following who. But anyways, now I think we should go into a bit of politics as usual again. A lot of things have happened. Very interesting stuff. First, I want us to start again with the money topic. Basically, some of the things that Trump has done, I just want to mention that it seems like it's been quite successful. Trump is trying to make the US more attractive. And in trying to do that, there have been a lot of monetary commitment towards the US. Right? So the Saudi government, for example, has committed $600 billion in investment. And now Apple has also committed $500 billion US over the next 4 years. Now, the way Apple has framed it is we're doing it because of the tariffs and all that stuff to make sure that their supply chain is still solid, blah, blah, blah. They can continue to. But whatever it is that they say, sometimes those tariffs are also put in place so that companies can consider investment locally. So it seems like a success to me. I mean, what are your thoughts?
I'm curious actually to see how this whole thing ends. Donald's administration. One thing that I see clearly is economically, right? They are really trying to build the US again. And from my perspective, I feel like they are actually very focused on running the US as a business. And for me, I feel like it's an interesting experiment to see how this all turns out, right? Because I feel like you can run a business in this sort of manner they are going about it, like it's all about the numbers, the money, and what you are bringing to the US, like this whole $5 million green card route to like investors and everything. But this is not a company, right? Like these are millions of people with feelings, with ideologies. And does that really matter at the end of the day? Or does it not matter? You just have to focus on, I'm curious, but I feel like so far economically he has made pretty good decisions when it comes to using his what is it called again? His wand, his magic wand, presidential wand, presidential. What is it called now?
Executive order.
Executive order. That's his magic wand now. He's a few another executive.
Yeah. I mean, but this is the thing. My question to you is: at least you're in the US now.
Yeah.
How do you think majority of the US is feeling about this? I'm not talking about just Democrats now.
It's divided.
It's large. It's like almost split 50-50,
yeah,
right?
Very divided.
Right? And usually in a democracy, you would want to govern the whole country as one, right?
Yeah.
But Trump is clear that he cares only about the people that voted him in. Do you think what he's doing, so economically, yes, but also for the American citizens, let's not talk about what they feel, but when it comes to outcome, if you just say, let's leave partisan politics, I want to be in the US and engage and I'm a citizen, do you think it's a better time now or was it better before?
I mean, there are signs that it might actually be getting better, but like it's a better time. I don't think they're there yet, but I feel like the trajectories are already there to show you that maybe if they continue in this direction, things might actually get better. That's the phrase, the economical part. And I think that's what they chose and that's what he's sticking to. Like, yeah, this is what I'm going to fix. I don't care about it.
But economic gap has been one of the biggest issues in capitalist countries, right?
Yeah.
Like if people can become a little bit more sustainable economically, wouldn't that impact every other thing?
I feel like, well, isn't that like his primary objective also? If you had to say like, what does the president of a country do? You say to fix the economy, no? No, what is it saying?
To protect, security,
exactly.
Economy, and stuff like that, and all those bits is also concerned about, right? It's talking about the military a lot. It's talking, So I mean, from that perspective, I'm not American. I can't tell, and I don't live in the US. But you live in the US. I think a 50-50 divide is a bit of an issue. I agree. Because now you really can't. I hate that that's what democracy comes down to. Like you just have one half of the country every single time having to deal with a leader that they absolutely didn't want.
Yeah.
And this is just the reality. It's unfortunate that this is the case.
Well, let me add one thing. I feel like it's very peculiar to Trump's administration is with democracy is always like that, right? There has to be the divide, there has to be the left and the right or whatever. But with Trump, what he has managed to do, what seems like is going on is the extremity between the divide is stronger now. Like with other administration, it could be like, okay, I don't agree with your beliefs, but we have a different president right now. I'm just gonna sit back and be like, you know what, it's not all that bad. Okay, all good. But now it's like this constant hatred between the two divide, right? You get what I mean? It's like a war between the two divide, which shouldn't necessarily be. Everyone should just be like, okay, we have a different perspective or a different idea or ideology. Okay, it's cool.
I totally understand that the divide seems stronger. Cool. But if I would ask you, what would you recommend as a potential bridge? Like just looking at how everyone is engaging, the left, the right, who do you think needs to move? And maybe they both need to move. Who do you think needs to move more? What do you think needs to happen?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying it will happen,
yeah,
but from your perspective, what could happen to bridge the gap, to pull them together a bit?
I honestly don't know. But one thing I can say, and we talked about it last episode, right, is that the tunnel vision perspective that Trump administration is using right now, they don't owe anyone an explanation, to be honest. But maybe if they soft land most of these things that they are doing, if they try to cajole people or like, just try to be human about this. Like, for example, you ask like, what is a Trump supporter, for example, is feeling? This last federal government like firing, there are like these 3 people that came online like they granted these interviews and now she was a Trump supporter and now she has lost her job. because she's part of the collateral damage, obviously. So yeah.
Or she didn't listen to Trump's campaign stuff properly. Maybe she had a job that was iffy, and it was clear.
Yeah, exactly. That was what happened.
And she didn't look for another job.
I'm like, yeah.
So this is the thing. I'm with you on soft landing, and I think democracy, if you want to take it softly, it allows you to do that very much. However, development, countries that really need to develop fast, I can't think about one country that needed to develop fast and managed to do it with soft landing.
Yeah, that's true.
Singapore developed really fast lately, but they had one guy that decided
this
that
is
I
my
would be the
idea.
father of Singapore.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't care. It would come to me as like, I don't care. And look at where Singapore is.
That's true. China is the same. Even Russia.
Exactly. China. Even countries had monarchy. The European countries, they had monarchy, and then they grew, or they had some crazy, and then they grew, and then it's been downhill since then,
Yeah.
And that's the thing. Look at Rwanda. Look at, we mentioned China, we mentioned Singapore, and now the US seems to be in that position as well. And I'll give a very solid example. Biden promised forgiveness of student loan as an election promise.
Yeah.
In the whole 4 years, Biden couldn't do it because he wanted to do soft landing, or maybe he never had the intention of doing it. Now we can't even tell anymore. This is what happens.
Yeah.
They would discuss one agenda for 4 years, and it might not even happen. Or it happens close to an election so that they can count it as part of the wins.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Now, Donald, in less than a year, has done more.
Less than a year, bro. It's not 3 months, man. This guy gave me like time.
Exactly. Can you even imagine?
It's like 2 months, man.
It's like 2 months in, and everything that he promised is at least tackling. He's talking about the economy. He's talking about Palestine, Israel. He's talking about Russia, Ukraine. I think just by being logical, I know there's a lot of emotions involved as well. Yeah, because I've seen some things, and we're going to get to soon, where, just by watching CNN or Saturday Night Live, you see that, they changed the truth a little bit to make Trump look like the bad guy by fire by force. And if you objectively assess things on your own logically, there are characteristics that I've seen now. It's not about good or bad, but I think it's more reasonable than people want to give him credit for.
It is.
I think it's more reasonable, and it's way smarter than I even thought it was before. I still wouldn't have voted Donald in the first election, and the second one, if I would be American, I probably wouldn't have voted Donald as well. I always try to say, well, I think the first election I probably would have voted for Benny.
Yeah.
I don't know, for some reason I'm more.
People like Benny. I don't know why he hasn't. Yeah, people love him.
Yeah, but it's too far left. It's the same when you make the argument for the far right as well. I'm starting to have a bit of respect for Donald, and it's still this because of his non-politicalness, in the sense of he's superhuman. All the mistakes, I don't know if this makes sense, but there's just something about him that is not difficult to understand. And you might question, should a president be like that? But if a president is human, yes. And we need to recognize that in the democracy system as well, in the democratic system. We need to recognize that we're dealing with humans. We got too used to acting politicians, like politicians that are actors.
Yeah, I get it.
They need to seem a particular way. They need to look a particular way. They need to act a particular way. Trump showed some character traits that I was just like, it's just an old man that has this job, and it just feels like, let me get my job done whichever way. I don't want to care about all these things. I mean, now that we're talking about it, economical, blah, blah, well, they're doing well. We talked about that. But there are bigger stories, which is around the diplomatic approach. And what he's doing let's start with the very big one, Ukraine-Russia war. Yeah, a lot has happened. They met at the White House. Zelensky was at the White House. The solution that was proposed. What are your thoughts?
That was a good watch. I mean, I think Donald said that himself. I'm like, this guy, man. He's like, he said, I think we've given you guys enough headline or something in that line, man. I'm like, well, that's true, because that was some epic stuff, man. I'm like, wow. I mean, they really treated him. Yeah, they really manhandled the guy, man. But I'm like, yeah. I mean, I think he definitely deserved that. I'm sorry to say. Yeah, I agree with Trump a lot on. It's like I couldn't even agree more. I haven't in this like on this particular topic. 100%, I think he handled that well, because he's like, I don't know why. I think we also mentioned it last week before he even said it like 2-3 days ago. It's like, I don't know why Ukrainians are backing this guy. And you remember we said that, right? Like, you know, because I was like, why didn't he have some election? And yeah, they couldn't have election because blah blah blah, the country is unstable and all. But then you mentioned that the Ukrainians are actually backing it, and I'm wondering why. I mean, there's definitely a lot of things we don't know because we are not Ukrainians, right?
But maybe just a quick comment
Yeah.
on that. I think what's happening with them backing him is they are strictly just going for the emotional
Beat of
that is defending our hometown. Is defending our homeland.
how he's not defending.
It's enough to just say he's fighting. They know that this could have this could have started or ended in very different ways where Ukraine decides not to fight.
Yeah.
And the fact that he's fighting, this makes them feel like, yes, we need to fight for our homeland.
Oh, I see what you mean.
This is the emotional part. Even if we all die, and that's the emotional part of it, because no one wants that to happen. I don't want that to happen. No one wants that to happen. And yes, you have to deal with the threat, but can you be logical and strategic?
Exactly. He doesn't know where he stands in the whole game. I think maybe now he does. I mean, for me, what happened there, I feel like he needed to be checked and realized like, yo, you don't have any sort of power here. You've been acting like you thought you did, but you don't. And that was what Donald actually and JD Vance was like, yeah, guy, know your place, man. That was sad, man.
Bro, I saw that stuff. A few things that I noticed, right? JD Vance. So Donald started with trying to be soft, and the conversation was going on, and JD just came in and like, by the way, guy, what do you think you're doing, Seth?
Yeah.
Like, you're just killing your people.
That was crazy.
And you know what's crazy about it was, one, I remember we had an episode where we talked about Elon being, I regret saying it was definitely more powerful than JD Vance, because this guy has shown that he's not going to get outshined.
Maybe all these things are just him trying to any media opportunity is going strong.
It's going hard.
Yeah.
Like on the international front now this is the thing. Donald's reaction to JD Vance's behavior does not look like he's against it.
He's like, that's my boy. The look he was giving him. Yeah, that's my boy.
Like just go. Like Zelensky, can you hear? Oh yeah, answer.
Yeah, he was
he
supported him.
But now this is the thing. It's supporting him. Donald himself is now recusing himself from being the one saying the hard stuff.
Yeah.
It's almost as if Donald was like when you watch that video again, it's almost as if Donald was like a mediator.
Yeah.
But the final say
He
as
took
well.
a step back. It was just like, yeah.
This is a character that I did not expect of Donald. The effort that he takes into delegating and giving the people that he delegates to full trust and authority, that's a lesson for any leader. That level of delegation to say, I back you. We talked about this as well, that we thought Elon maybe was doing stuff on his own. But when I watched that video where Elon was at the White House talking about what they had done with the USAID and maybe mistakes that they might have made.
We have, for example, turned on funding for Ebola prevention and for HIV prevention.
Left that, you said?
Yes, correct. And we are moving fast, so we will make mistakes, but we'll also fix the mistakes very quickly. So
Do you see it as a worthy cause, USAID?
I think that there are some worthy things, but overall, if you say what is the bang for the buck, I would say it was not very good. And there was far too much of what USAID was doing was influencing elections in ways that I think were dubious and do not stand the light of day.
He literally said, Mr. President wanted it, so we do what Mr. President's want.
Yeah.
And Donald was there, and it's like, yeah, cool. So it still is very clear that somehow Donald has managed to be the number one authority figure.
Yeah.
We were wrong.
Yeah.
At least so far. And he's just delegating and making sure that his delegations carry the same authority as he has. That's delegation. You know what I mean? And I did not picture that Donald would be so good at it as an old man.
No, not even as an old man, as the image of Donald that they are trying so hard for us to believe like he's this sort of guy.
Yeah, the same guy that will sue you for calling him a billionaire or multi-millionaire,
Yeah.
even though he's a billionaire, you know?
Yeah.
Now, the second thing is that he seems to be having quite a bit of fun with it, and he seems to be quite reasonable. Now,
Exactly.
something happened, Ibra. Someone from the entourage of the US asked Zelensky why he's not wearing a suit.
For President Zelensky, do you ever? Why don't you wear a suit? Why don't you wear a suit? You're the highest level in this country's office, and you refuse to wear a suit. Just want to see if you do you own a suit?
Yeah, you have problems.
A lot of Americans have problems with you not
Really?
respecting.
I don't
the
have
dignity of
such.
this office.
I will wear a costume after this war will finish.
Okay.
Yes, maybe.
Now, this is an unreasonable question. We agree. Because, well, I mean, if you followed it, he mentioned that he wasn't going to wear a suit until the war is over. So they're like, oh, you disrespect our Oval Office and all that stuff. Donald clearly, I watched that video. Clearly, Donald was like, he told the guy, look, I respect you, I like you, but I don't mind what he's wearing. I think he's dressed beautifully. Right? This was Donald's stance on that, why are you not wearing a suit?
Yeah.
Interestingly, guess what the media is propagating? Oh, Donald just disrespected Zelensky about the suit stuff. There is a Saturday Night Live SNL sketch.
There, I've been to Ukraine on Google Maps. And you know what? You're not even wearing a suit. It's disrespectful. Who shows up to the White House in a t-shirt and jeans like a garbage person? Hi guys. Elon.
That basically took the words and like they did the sketch as if Donald was the one that actually asked Zelensky, why are you not wearing a suit? This is disrespectful. And I'm like, but
Wow.
this never happened. Yeah, Donald, in all the brouhaha, Donald was still there trying to be, reasonable about what he likes, what he doesn't like, what he agrees with, what he doesn't agree with. And they just lump everything together. But I understand why they would potentially want to lump everything together. Donald is the main man in the room. But I think someone also mentioned that it seems like they achieved what they wanted to. They achieved what they wanted to because now Zelensky has to rethink his strategy. He will come back to Europe and rethink his strategy.
I think they met today or yesterday also in London.
Ah, I see. I haven't seen. And I understand why they would meet in London. Do you know that the Prime Minister of the UK as well visited Donald, Keir Starmer? He visited Donald. And without even talking about whatever it is that they discussed, something funny happened. They asked, one of the press guys asked Donald, like, if the UK is in trouble, war-like trouble or whatever, the US will support, right?
If British troops are in Ukraine keeping the peace and get attacked by Russia, will you come to their aid?
If the British people are in Ukraine and they get attacked,
If British soldiers in Ukraine.
I've always found about the British, they don't need much help. They can take care of themselves very well. You know what? No, it sounds like it's evasive, but it's not evasive. The British have been incredible soldiers, incredible military, and they can take care of themselves.
Guess what Donald's response was?
What did you say?
I'm not quoting him verbatim or word for word or act by act, but to me, it seemed like it was gaslighting the UK because the UK is not at the moment. Like because he looked at Keir Starmer and was like, the UK big boys, they don't need help. Oh, do you need help? And then big boys. Oh, would you need help from us?
He's
and the Keir
definitely
Starmer guy was then trying to be a typical prime minister. Well, we are allies. We are this and.
Maybe that's also the problem that I have with Trump. It does seem like he's having too much fun, and this we're talking about people's lives, like with all these sort of responses and gestures. It's clear if you see the way you get what I mean. It's like, but these are serious stuff.
But I like it. Do you know why I like it, bro? I think we have lied to ourselves enough in this world. Every time when push comes to shove, every country will choose their own people. We lie to ourselves. It's a global village, all for one, or one for all, or whatever. I don't know what to do. Like, we are all together in it. When push comes to shove, there will instantly be the segregation and blah blah blah. And basically, Trump is just saying now, like, hey, we are all white, we can be friends, but forget it. You're not getting my money or unless you're. Is doing what I think was truly at the core of society, and we were pretending as if we were one.
Yeah, I get what you mean. That I like. He's a very realistic person.
Exactly. And that's what he's doing. And now what's more interesting is the way they did it, right? That alliance of the West. Now without the US, it seems like it's nothing. Everybody's running elter skelter. People should wake up. Yeah, people should wake up. Because for Trump, I think maybe what's hurting him the most is that a lot of Europe we have all this working system. We talked about it a lot, right? Like in Europe, especially in some of the big countries in the EU, the system works.
Yeah.
Right? And you have in the US a country where even if you have insurance, you are paying more than if you don't have insurance. You have a system where they have too many homeless people, and they're the richest country in the world, by the way. Yeah, because they will always infrastructure is shit, because they will always divert their own funding to military power, and they keep funding military power, but Europe gets to benefit directly and indirectly from that.
But they agreed on that. That's the issue. They agreed to that, right?
Another president agreed to that for some reason or the other, and now that it's at the detriment of American people, it's fine that another president comes in and say, in my own agenda, no, I'm not agreeing to it unless X and X happens.
But he's not saying that directly. That's the problem, because Trump is now.
He is.
He made clear
he said
that
I'll pull out of NATO.
Oh.
Yeah, he asked for them to do at least 2% of their budget in military funding. And they're still discussing with them. Okay, cool. Discuss. It means 10%. You don't want to do discuss now. He made some very clear demands.
If he had made that clear, then he should just go for it. Because for me, it feels like he's doing it indirectly with this whole Ukraine war.
No, it's not indirectly.
Okay.
The Ukraine one, what's pissing him off is the $350 billion that Biden sent over.
Allegedly sent over.
Exactly. I think what's pissing Donald up with that one is why. Now, there's a good why. When Ukraine was asked to dump their nuclear arsenal, Russia, China, US, a lot of countries actually put pen to paper to say they will protect Ukraine in case of a war. They did. Now, I think that's an issue. But at the same time, the whole world, one way or the other, also promised Russia that they will respect their positioning as a military power. They will respect their positioning as a rival. Right? And if we're breaking one law, I think it throws everything out the water.
Exactly.
Like even Russia sought to protect Ukraine. But also the West promised something else to Russia when it comes to their rivalry position. You know, their borders and stuff. They basically said, we don't care. We will move towards you. If they want to join NATO, it's up to them. Remember when I said it at the beginning of the war that it's a bad war, blah, blah, but I think Europe had the responsibility for Ukrainian people to say, no. Don't worry, we are allies. Don't worry, we have all these things going, but we cannot formally say you are part of X and X. They could have had a completely different type of agreement, special to bordering countries to Russia. But they tested that. But what will you do kind of energy. But someone else has made an argument, like a conspiracy, that the whole Ukraine thing, forget the border, blah, 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 it's all a mineral resource conversation. And maybe pushing Ukraine to the wall now, they don't have the American support. Europe might not be able to support appropriately. This mineral resource thing, it's like negotiating and making sure that the power dynamics is clear before they even reach an agreement, because you might be fooling yourself. Do you know what I mean? So like, see, know where you day. If I'm asking for 1 trillion, I'm asking for 1 trillion. Can you really say no to me? And it's still a business negotiation move again, because it's in the US favor to really clarify that power dynamics.
I mean, we'll see how everything would go. They met, I think, yesterday. I'm not sure what he said. I haven't seen anything, but they met in London, and I saw Zelensky hugging the new prime minister in the UK, and let's see. I don't think Europe.
Read about it and talk about it in the
I don't think Europe is ready to take on the war right now.
We should think about it. And I mean, already I think when we saw Emmanuel Macron at the White House talking to Donald, even though they say it didn't turn out well, I think he was representing the EU in that conversation, and I think they're trying to find the back door. Yeah, but also it seems like when the US makes a move, it also gives the other Western countries a bit of effrontery to do the same. For example, the USAID thing that went off. Now the Keir Starmer, the British Prime Minister, they also cut down now on UK aids. Yeah, so that the aid budget they cut down so that they can fund more military stuff now. I mean, the fact that they do that, why didn't they do it before Donald came along?
I mean, that's like everything you just said about we've been lying to ourselves all along that this is a global village or whatever. That, yeah, I mean, as we know it, US is still like the main authority. And I think he was just of the idea that, okay, yeah, then I'll also pull out. Like, yeah, why would I also make everybody day their day? You know, it's like, okay, yeah, I think the world is coming back to this decentralized original way. And yeah, let's just keep our money, man.
Yeah, exactly. I don't blame them. And people might be looking at our stance and thinking, why do we have this stance? It's because if you think about it logically, it's fine when British government says British people first. I'm not talking black, white, or whatever, but British people. If they are black, if they are white, it doesn't matter. It's fine. I think so, because we go to these countries, we see that they are no longer at the point where there's not a lot to do.
Yeah, I think that's the problem. A lot of people caught up with them, and like Singapore, for example, like you just mentioned, back then it worked, right? But right now, they are not in that position to do this whole philanthropy or these giveaways that they've been giving, man.
Honestly, they should really clean up the house. And by the way, just to plug it in here, we will do giveaway once we start making money, guys. Guys, follow us, like and subscribe. For giveaway, we'll be making the money from YouTube, and we'll be sorting you guys. Okay, go on.
Yeah, I mean, that's just what I wanted to say. Like, for sure. Like, yeah, these things, they need to be reviewed, right? They need to be, like, checked again and see, like, does it still work? And it doesn't seem like it is working. And that's one thing that I feel like Donald sees very clearly. And I'm like, yeah, I actually agree with that, man. Like, we don't get money like that for outside that big.
Yeah, which is fine. Again, one clarification to make. There are still many things that we disagree with. Some extreme things that we don't align with and all that stuff. But it's fine. We won't agree with everything that there are things that we can understand, but we don't agree. There are things that we can't understand, but we agree. And it's just what it is. I think maybe what I don't like about the world is if they want to paint someone as a bad guy, then everything that person does will always be bad. You're the bad guy, so you should be bad.
Yeah.
And the good guys will always do good. And this is why the credibility of Western media corporations it's in shambles.
People are taking the media into their hands due to social media, right? And everything is just flying out there, and everyone is speaking and deciding on different agendas and ideology, and which is how it's supposed to be. But then they have less control when it comes to like mainstream media and like the big media companies. In the past, they don't have that anymore. There's this South African guy, you probably know him. He's like the biggest on TikTok. He has like 14 million followers. This guy was at the AU summit. Just one guy. Not Fox, not CNN,
Who is this guy?
I forgot his name.
I know one British guy that was like competing with.
He's not British. He's South African. He should be the same guy. Yeah.
This white guy
that was mentioning that guys, Fox already or blah 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 is like 13 million. Let's push it to 14 million or whatever.
Yeah, it was BBC. Yeah. That guy is like a proper news
outlet.
He was also at the Munich Security Conference. Yeah. He was also at the Munich Security Conference.
He's actually a major news platform, and just one guy.
I follow him on TikTok. The only thing is he tries to not go into too much details. So he gives the headlines, this has happened, and he follows some stories, but very fast and stuff. And I think what we do, for example, is slightly different, because now we add our own perspective and assumptions on top of it to foster like potential conversations. And I just wanted to clarify that we're doing that, but we we are not saying our line of thought is the absolute fact or truth and all that stuff.
Yeah.
I think we should potentially find, because at this point I think I'm very central, maybe even slightly leaning towards the right at this point, and I would love for us to have a strong leftist to also hear their thoughts, because it happened to me at a company event on Friday that someone that was clearly leftist was speaking to someone that was clearly right, on the right side, and they were having this conversation, and I found myself saying, "You are right, and you are also right," and you know what I mean? Like, actually, what you're saying, I think it's correct. Calm down, relax. You're also not wrong in this circumstance, and in this, this is absolute. And I'm thinking, wouldn't it be nice if we could get a guest on the platform? That is.
We can look into that, definitely.
Really leftist.
Probably also a lady.
Yeah, and maybe we'll have someone in our comment section that feels, a lady or a man, but if you feel like you have enough knowledge and capability to have very good discourse on the political situation in the world today, on other things that we have been talking about, and you would like to chip in, just reach out to us in our comment section, and our guys will reach out to you. We might be able to work something out, especially if you have the right equipment that we could potentially use, or if we're in similar locations. Yeah, that would be interesting. And also, of course, we can, if you're in similar location with Ibra and stuff, and you're a buddy, you have to say
anything. That's why this angle that we're taking is like, because I'm thinking, are we actually, because we are not actually just news. We are just, running commentaries and sharing perspective.
Exactly. We're just running commentary, and that's why I wanted to differentiate from Dylan as well.
Yeah.
To say, for us, it's our line of thought, it's opinion, it's thinking and talking, as our name suggests, and assumption. So if you think you have something solid as well that you feel confident and comfortable to talk about in front of a camera, please, by all means. But also, if you feel like, I just want to listen to them live in the room because I look great and I'll look great.
What is wrong with you?
That's it for today's episode. I think that was interesting. We caught up on quite a bit, and I'm sure by next week these things would have evolved a little bit more, and we'll be happy to bring that to you as well. We apologize that sometimes our videos are coming out late. It's simply because of our process, and we cannot just keep up with the Trump administration. We love it. Too many things are happening so fast that we were a bit lagging behind when it comes to posting in time, but hopefully we'll find a solution for that soon as well. That's it. Please do not forget to like, subscribe, share our videos, follow everything that you can potentially do to engage with us, comment, and we are on every platform. We're on TikTok, we're on Instagram, we are on Facebook, we are on Twitter, X formerly known as Twitter, and YouTube. Please enjoy your week and see you again next week.
Adios.